Hi, welcome to the Faith and Wellness Sister. Today I'm sharing a quick and impactful full body strength routine that I absolutely love. Okay. It is only 30 minutes long. It is 40 seconds of work with 15-second break in between. It's basically three upper body work exercises and three lower bodies, and then three upper bodies and three lower bodies. Yeah, I absolutely love it. I love that it is quick. I love that it is impactful. I love that it is sweaty, and after that 30 minutes you really cannot ask for any more because you've worked every single part of your body. This is a Caroline Gervin workout that I have just kind of tweaked slightly over the years that I've been doing it. And I just basically moved a couple of things that I didn't really enjoy doing, and have added in some exercises that I prefer. So it's purely due to preference that I've made the changes that I have, but otherwise, even the original version is absolutely wonderful and you should absolutely try it. So, anyway, I am going to be speaking over this workout, but what I really want to talk about today is just something to encourage you if you're struggling with what to eat, when to eat. There's so much going on at the moment around nutrition. There's intermittent fasting. And I think for me personally, I went through this phase where I looked at food in two groups. One, the good group, to the bad category. So I tried as hard as I could to eat foods mainly from the class foods that I classified as good. Okay. So, and this was definitely the season where I was obsessed with losing weight. It was the season where I would cut out carbs and try banting and tried keto and tried all sorts of eating plans. But what I found really works for me, and this is something that I have implemented over the last couple of years. And honestly, I feel the healthiest, I feel the strongest, I feel the most happiest with my body. And I'd like to just share with you on that. Again, I am not a nutritionist, I'm not an expert when it comes to diet and exercise. I simply share what I enjoy and what I found is working for me at this stage and this season of my life. And perhaps in the next season, it will look completely different. But one thing I can tell you is that I will never stop strength training unless physically I wasn't able to. But that is definitely something that I can say without a shadow of a doubt that will be a staple in my life for the rest of my days. That's I'm confident of that, as I am of the fact that God loves me, God is for me, not against me. He's working all things together for my good, and there is an eternity that awaits for me in heaven after this life. So, like, just to put it out there, that's how strongly I feel about strength training. Anyway, when it comes to nutrition, I have I think had a couple of stumbling blocks, and I just want to share with you what I have found works for me. Okay, so I don't eat red meat, and I haven't eaten red meat I think since I was a child. My mother doesn't eat red meat; she only eats chicken and fish, and that is kind of the style of eating that I have adopted from living with her. So yeah, so my meals basically consist of mainly legumes, grains, fruits and vegetables, and red meat. Sorry, and fish and chicken. That's mainly it. And I do have a lot of vegetarian meals as well. So, and that's basically what my family eats. I do not eat anything different to what my family does, to what my family eats. So, on a regular day, I start off my morning, as you know, with my morning quiet time, my workout, a cup of coffee, my water, and I don't have my first meal until around 11, 12 in the afternoon. And, since I started just not forcing myself to have breakfast in the mornings, I felt so much better. I've never been a breakfast person, to be very honest with you. I ate breakfast growing up only because my mother used to force me. And before that, only because my great grandmother used to force me. And I just remember like really dreading eating breakfast because when I wake up first thing in the morning, I'm simply not hungry. And that's something that has remained consistent in my life throughout since I was a little girl, and now at 40 years old I feel exactly the same. So I do my workout in the morning. I have my water throughout my workout, and then I have my cup of coffee, and then I'll have water when I get to the office, and then I'll have my first meal between 11 and 12. And a lot of people say, oh my gosh, that must be so bad for you to work out on an empty stomach. I simply cannot work out on a full stomach. I'm the complete opposite. And I know a lot of people will say, okay, well, you should eat something and then wait a little bit, and then you will be able to work out an hour or so later. I don't have the luxury of eating, waiting an hour in the morning. Pre-workout and all of that, honestly, it feels like a luxury to me. I think that I'm fine. I don't feel like weaker or anything like that if I haven't eaten and I do my workouts. And yeah, so it works out well for me. And then, yeah, so I have my first meal around 11, 12, and my first meal is generally a protein, vegetables, and something sweet. So, what that looks like sometimes is a rice cake with an egg salad and a banana. And sometimes it looks like eggs on toast and then a slice of toast with peanut butter and banana. And sometimes it looks like a tuna salad, and sometimes it looks like, I think, leftovers I'll also have sometimes, which would maybe be a piece of chicken and some roast vegetables. I generally do have something sweet after I eat my first meal. It's generally going to be either a piece of fruit, um, or like, or a piece of toast with peanut butter, which is also something sweet, peanut butter and banana. And then I'll also have something hot to drink, generally a cup of coffee, but sometimes it can also be a cup of tea. So that is my first meal of the day. And then around 4, I'm generally feeling a little bit peckish and could eat something. So then I'll either have like an apple with some peanut butter, or I'll just have a piece of fruit of some kind, and then again I'll have something hot to drink. And then when I get home, again I'll have a little snack. So sometimes a handful of peanuts and raisins, or some kind of nut, and or some popcorn. And that's when I am busy preparing dinner. And then for dinner, we will usually have some kind of grain, some vegetables, and chicken. Or we'll have a salad, some roast vegetables and chicken. And the grains can be couscous, rice, maize meal, anything like that. But we have a vegetable most nights, 99% of the time. And then a couple of times a week, we will also have a completely vegetarian meal for dinner. This is what my whole family eats. Like I said, I don't usually prepare my own meals that are separate to what the rest of my family's eating. So that's what I eat most of the time. And why do I eat like this? Because this is when I feel like I can function at my best. Okay. A couple of years ago, I struggled with intense bloating, and that's when I was eating a lot of coleslaw and raw beetroot grated into a salad and things like that. And I've just kind of tried to cut that down a little bit over time. I love coleslaw. I love raw cabbage. I love raw beetroot. But I noticed that it really was impacting my digestion. So that's basically, if I had to speak of some of the changes that I've had to make. But when it comes to being conscious of what I'm eating, how it makes me feel, I feel like that has made the biggest difference. Okay. One, what do I like? What do I enjoy? I know I like crunchy stuff. I know that I love sweet things. So I try not to deprive myself of those things. I love popcorn. I will never say no to popcorn. So I will have that at least 2 to 3 times a week, a massive bowl of popcorn for myself. I absolutely enjoy that. So I listen to my body. I listen to how certain foods make me feel. Okay. You're the one in your own body. Okay. Someone can tell you you should only be eating salads and you should only be eating egg whites, but if it doesn't make you feel good, you are not going to stick to that eating plan. And I went through phases where I was not eating carbs and I was not eating sugar, and I'd cut out so much stuff from my diet, and I was miserable. And I knew that it was not sustainable. For me to be able to stick to an eating plan, it has to be sustainable. I have to enjoy it. So, number one, I eat when I'm hungry. Number two, I eat foods that I enjoy that make me feel good. Number three, I started to listen to my own body. Didn't listen to what this doctor was saying or what this nutritionist was saying or whatever it is. Remember, like, all those stats and all of that data is based on the people that they have worked with in order to compile that, those statistics. But everybody is different. We are all different. They can say, like, in their research they found that this many people reacted this way to chocolate, or this way to crisps, or this way to fried foods. But it's not going to speak to to the vast majority. It's not going to speak to everybody. So and I think I'm so fortunate in that I do not enjoy takeaways. I'll have takeaways. My family and I will have takeaways maybe once every 2 months. Every now and then we'll go out to a nice restaurant and have and enjoy a good meal. But 99.9% of the time, we cook at home and we eat home cooked meals. We know how much sugar went into that, I don't know, that cake or those pancakes. We know how much salt went into it. We know how much oil went into it. Not that, so I don't count calories at all. I just find it too time consuming. And I think that it's something that one can become overly obsessive about. I don't think that. I don't think that it just simply didn't work for me, basically. And I don't think that it's going to work for a lot of busy people. But it works for some people, and great, go for it. If it works for you, that's wonderful. So I work mainly on how my body feels. And that's why it was so important for me to get my hunger cues in order, okay? Because sometimes I would snack so much, not because I was hungry, just because I was bored. So, like, I had to understand, okay, am I hungry? Am I thirsty? Am I bored? Am I, emotionally, am I feeling emotional? Am I emotional eating? All of those things I had to kind of work through for myself. So, and I'm so grateful that I'm at the place that I am right now. So, like I said, we don't indulge a lot in takeaways. It's just not something that I have, it's not a habit that I have encouraged in my family or my children. And so, yeah, so we basically, most of the time, we eat homemade foods. I do not cut out any food group from my diet. Okay. So I eat carbs, I eat bread, I eat cakes, I eat chocolates, I eat sweets. I probably eat more sweets than I should. I do have an insatiable sweet tooth. So every single evening after dinner, I will generally have a dessert of some kind. Whether it's cake that I baked on the weekend, I bake most weekends. So if a month has got 4 weekends, I probably bake 3 out of the 4 weekends. And if I don't bake, we will make pancakes for dessert, and we'll have them with ice cream. So we are either having cake most nights, or we're having ice cream, or I'm having mango, or I am having a piece of chocolate, or I'm having a handful of sweets. So we are having some kind of dessert most evenings, or I am. Sometimes the rest of my family doesn't. But I honestly found that depriving myself of certain foods really created an unnecessary tension, and it created an unnecessary obsession with when next can I have this thing? When next can I have cake? When next can I have a sweet? When next can I have a chocolate? When next can I have bread? My goodness, like, food is there to be enjoyed, but we need to enjoy it in moderation, number one. And number two, we need to be able to listen to the cues from our body. Okay. I certainly could not have I don't know, I couldn't have bread for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, because I know my stomach would not do well with that. I would feel sluggish, I would feel tired. That's just something that I noticed when I consume a lot of bread or a lot of baked goods. So you just have to be aware of that, and you have to listen to your own body, because you're the one living in it and you're the one that it's talking to. Okay. So I do, like I said, have desserts, and the desserts will look different most nights. Sometimes it is a massive mango. Sometimes it is an orange. Sometimes it's an orange and a mango. Sometimes it's ice cream. Sometimes it's a baked good. But it's all going to look different. And the biggest thing is, a lot of the time it is foods that I have made at home. So yes, it might not be the healthiest or the most nutritionally dense option, even though it's made at home, but I know what went into it, right? So that's another thing for me. And I'm also so grateful that I don't like my family and I don't really are not big fried foods fan. We're not, like, so even though we're eating at home, it's not like we're making fried chicken strips and fried chicken or whatever. I cook a lot over the stovetop, and I make a lot of like chicken stews. My husband makes chicken curry, and then we also cook a lot of food in the oven without any oil, basically. And if there is a little bit of oil, it's very minimal. So that's what we do. And even for my kids for school, I like to make them homemade sandwiches. My son's always asking if he can please have some money for the tuck shop at school, but I just don't think it's necessary. I pack their lunch every single day, and I pack them a snack as well. And the snack is usually like, a packet of roasted corn. Sometimes it is those good morning biscuits or something like that. And they are quite happy to have that most of the time. So, yeah, so I think that just to kind of give a summary um, of what I've really changed over the last few years. So, number one, I eat when I'm hungry. Okay, I don't get up and eat because I'm simply not hungry. I generally am hungry between 11 and 12. Sometimes it's a little bit earlier than that, and sometimes it is a little bit later than that, um, which is also fine. Number two, I eat foods that I enjoy, foods that I enjoy the texture of, foods that my palate responds well to, foods that satisfy my cravings, but also satisfy my hunger levels. Number three, nothing is forbidden. I eat all foods, any foods. I am going to put a disclaimer here, though, that says, just to say that I am fortunate in that I don't crave a lot of fried foods. I don't crave a lot of heavily processed foods. I don't crave a lot. I mean, sorry, just also to add there, most food is processed, right? But I don't crave a lot of takeaway foods. I do prefer to make my own foods at home, um, which is also really great. And then I listen to how my body feels after certain foods. I look at things like bloating. I look at my energy levels. Are there foods that I'm eating that I feel really tired after consuming? My mental sharpness. Are there foods that I'm eating that leave me feeling mentally foggy? All of those things are important, and all of those things have really helped, as opposed to just looking at, I'm now going to be banting, or I'm now going to be cutting out carbs, or I'm now going to be I'm now going to be vegan, or I'm now going to be a carnivore. I look at holistically. One, what do I enjoy eating? What makes me feel good? What makes me feel terrible after eating it? And then I've made this, small changes, tweaked certain things over the last few years, and I think that all of that has contributed to me feeling good mentally and physically.